if you want to call it recently, I have a felony conviction. Well, several felony convictions. So I've had to navigate life since 1998, knowing that I had an F on my report card, as some people like to say. All those collateral consequences that come with the conviction I've had. Now, mind you, growing up, I was a smart guy. I was on my way to become a neonatal neurosurgeon. I graduated high school, top of my class. I was going to Rhodes College. I applied to two schools, Rhodes College and Morehouse, got accepted to both for scholarships and chose Rhodes College. But second semester in, I didn't have any money. Realized that the culture shock was enormous. So I would run home every other day and couldn't afford to keep doing that. And next door to my mom's house, they were selling dope. So I decided I wanted to try to sell dope. Mind you, I wasn't from that lifestyle. I chose to learn how to become a criminal. So I had to learn the game. So that first obstacle was just learning how to navigate the criminal culture. And I got good at it because I was pretty smart. And the problem is I got so good at it that it became what I wanted to do. So for the next 10 years back, almost, I was a career criminal. And then by the age of 28, I finally got my last charge and I got convicted. They sent me to prison.
Hey everybody, I am back with another episode of So What Success Stories. Today, my guest is my new friend. Well, I guess new is relative though, right? My friend, DeAndre Brown. DeAndre and I met when he joined the board of Pathways in Education. I had been on that board for several years. And then DeAndre was invited to join that board. And we connected. Look, we really connected on our first trip to a board retreat in the airport when we had to run through the airport. So nothing can bring a person together more than adversity or a challenge, right, DeAndre?
Indeed.
That was one of our first experiences, almost missing our flight. But DeAndre is a director of Shelby, the Shelby County Office of Reentry, which is amazing that his life and his story has brought him to this position that he's now holding. And I can really, really, really applaud you, salute you for that. I can't wait to be able to share a little bit about your story and how you got there. But first, tell us a little about yourself, DeAndre.
All right. My name is DeAndre Brown. I am the new director for the Shelby County Office of Reentry, formerly the Executive Director and founder of LIFEline Success, ex-offender reentry program here in Memphis. Grew up in Memphis and Arkansas, split time during my childhood. Came to school in Arkansas, but then came to Memphis on the weekends. So I found out later my mom was on drugs, so they didn't want me to be exposed to that. So in an attempt to shelter me from the reality, they sent me over to Arkansas. But it was a great experience because I got to go from the segregated South during the week and come to Memphis, where I was in South Memphis in the hood during the weekend. So the dichotomy and the way life is, it's funny. I got to learn both sides of it. And it's put me in a position to really be able to be empathetic on one side, but also fight for those that have been left out of society and don't have a voice.
Wow. Okay. And you're married and you have a basketball and football team. Talk about that.
Yes, I am married. We have 8 children together. We're a blended family. I'm a manager of a boxer, Michael's Boxer in Memphis. I'm a season ticket holder for the Grizzlies, Go Grizz. Life is fun. Life is good right now.
That is awesome. And I'm so happy for you, especially when we start to talk about your story. So in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. And that's when a person can learn how to overcome their obstacles, eliminate their excuses, and calculate their choices. They can have what you have, DeAndre. So what success? And that is success in spite of any challenges that they face. So DeAndre, talk to us a little bit about some of the obstacles that you've overcome and just how you've done that.
The main one now, if you want to call it recently, is I have a felony conviction. Well, several felony convictions. So I've had to navigate life since 1998, knowing that I had an F on my report card, as some people like to say. All those collateral consequences that come with the conviction I've had. Now, mind you, growing up, I was a smart guy. I was on my way to become a neonatal neurosurgeon. I graduated high school, top of my class. I was going to Rhodes College. I applied to two schools, Rhodes College and Morehouse, got accepted to both for scholarships and chose Rhodes College. But second semester in, I didn't have any money. realized that the culture shock was enormous. So I would run home every other day and couldn't afford to keep doing that. And next door to my mom's house, they were selling dope. So I decided I wanted to try to sell dope. Mind you, I wasn't from that lifestyle. I chose to learn how to become a criminal. So I had to learn the game. So that first obstacle was just learning how to navigate the criminal culture. And I got good at it because I was pretty smart. And the problem is I got so good at it that it became what I wanted to do. So for the next 10 years back, almost, I was a career criminal. And then by the age of 28, I finally got my last charge and I got convicted. They sent me to prison. And going to prison, I had to learn how to navigate this new environment, coming from pretty sheltered background and being involved with individuals that had also chosen this lifestyle, but they didn't have a choice in most cases. So they presented with different obstacles in their own lives. But I began to talk to them and develop relationships, and I started preaching in prison. And then I began to be the guy people came to for issues and to get advice, which led me to my new role now. Started LIFEline because the obstacles were there and no one really wanted to help a person with a conviction. So I said, instead of making an excuse about it, let's figure out how to fix it. Started a program and started fighting it. Here we are.
Nice, succinct answer, but it was so power packed. That story. And I mean, and I I just got to kind of repeat it a little bit because we do recognize there are some people that are born and put in positions where that lifestyle is kind of inevitable. Mm-hmm. And then there are those people, young people who choose it, who seek it, who pursue it. And you say that was your journey. Either way, you end up in the same place and end up with the same consequences, right?
That's
and
great.
How you use that to create a very, very, very special program that's been powerful here in Memphis and beyond. And so I love it. And you even alluded to excuses. So the next part of the So What Success System is about excuses. Mm-hmm. Some excuses that you knew you had to eliminate so that you could get through and be where you are today.
One of the things I've been able to do, thank God, I don't know where it came from, is I just never been one to make excuses. If there was something to do, it had to be done. Coming from the country, so back up just a little bit. So when I was in the country, we were very poor. When I say very poor, our pipes bursted in our house in 10th grade. So we didn't have any water flowing into the house. So I learned how to take a bath and a little bit of water. Everything that we needed, any water we needed had to come from outside. So I would go outside no matter what the temperature was and get buckets of water, bring them in the house. And you realize if it's cold outside, but you still need to cook, there's no excuse. You've got to go get that water. And that is kind of what built the foundation of me being the guy that I am now. I was an athlete in school, football, track, basketball, and I always wanted to be first. And you can't be first when you make excuses. You can't lead the pack making excuses. So I became the person that says, why doesn't matter. I understand that you can give me reasons and that's great. But when you start using excuses to not do things, you're now becoming a procrastinator, and success is something that you'll never find.
Yes, say that again. Success is something you'll never find.
Never.
Love it. I love it. Again, powerful. Okay. You is having that effect too. So, but no, that's just so. And I like how you even said that you were an athlete and you always wanted to be first. And that mindset has transitioned over into every aspect of your life. And I like how you also said your why doesn't matter. And it's kind of funny because I always say your why matters when it comes to why you focus and how you push yourself. But I like how you used it in a different way. The why it didn't happen doesn't matter. It's like, okay, make it happen. Don't make excuses. I love it. So, okay, here's the third part of the So What Success System is choices. Mm-hmm. DeAndre, you have made tons of choices, even this recent choice to take this new position. Talk about some of the calculated choices that you made throughout your life to get to where you are and to overcome the challenges that you face.
Mm-hmm. Wow. I found that I've made choices that benefited me in the long run, but at the moment, I had no idea they would. But the way I'm trying to make decisions now is, if I don't know what to do, I just don't do anything. I keep going the way I'm going until I find a course. And then I plot a course and I go with everything I have. But if I don't know what to do, I've learned how not to move so quickly, because when you move too fast, you end up wasting time. And sometimes you have to start over. So I've had to make several choices. The first one was just when I graduated high school, where to go to college. Like I said, growing up in the segregated South, my counselor, guidance counselor, was a white guy, predominantly white school, never met with him. So I didn't understand how to apply for schools. You talk to people, you hear from people, heard two names, said, let me give these two a shot. Most of my classmates applied to several schools and got several offers. I only applied to two because I didn't know what to do. So I had to make a decision. Where do I go? Do I go to the black school? Do I go to the white school? Do I go to Atlanta? Do I stay in Memphis? Being afraid and not knowing how to grow and do all those things, I made the safe choice. I'm going to stay at home, which was a great choice when you look back in hindsight. But moving forward, then I decided I want to be a criminal. I made a decision. I mean, it wasn't something that fell into my lap. It wasn't circumstances. I said, I'm going to learn this game and learned it.
I appreciate your honesty about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had a mentor and everything because I had to learn the culture because anything I do with everything in me. So if I'm going to be wrong, I'm going to be all the way wrong. Won't be there's no gray area in my life because I don't like the gray. So I've decided to go full speed with that. And it took me in places and I learned things that have benefited me in my new role. But at the time, I didn't know that. Go to prison, figure out who to talk to, not to talk to. Do I want to be involved in the foolishness or do I want to set myself apart? One decision I had to make in prison was tough. I was what they call a rock man. That's the guy that takes things between dormitories and that you have kind of free access. Every inmate is locked in a cell or in a dorm room. They don't have free access to a hall. So they have a person on each shift that does that for the officers. I became the rock man. And generally, the rock man is the person. That's how you get things from one dorm to the other that you're not supposed to have. And I was not going to do it. I refused. I told the guys, I'm not passing nothing on my card. A few guys had a problem with it. A couple of them said, okay, I see you outside. That's okay. I see you outside too. What's up? Then when they realized that I was serious about it, they began to respect it. Then they never bothered me about it again. But I had to stand firm because it was so easy for me to just say, yeah, I'm afraid. I'm going to go with what's cool because I want to be accepted. I've never been a person that wants to be accepted because when you bow down to people's opinions and what they think you should be, you become a victim of what their opinions and thoughts of you are. And I've never been one to be a victim to anybody because I'm going to always be first. And the last decision was, like you said, this one. After being involved with LIFEline we're 12 years old, thank God, Tuesday. I've been in this role since August. And to decide to pull away, not leave, just pull away a little bit was very difficult. I felt like I was leaving a child. But I figured in the long run, I can help a few people in LIFEline, but I can change the system in this new role. So that's why I said I'd do it.
Ooh, that's powerful. That is powerful. And you've been changing systems because you've already gotten legislation passed and you've done a lot of powerful things. And I'm really happy and excited to see you in this position. Okay. So DeAndre, choices. You have made some choices. And I even like how you said, sometimes you made some choices that you didn't know what the impact was going to be, but it benefited you in the long run. And then you talk about some choices that you made that weren't so good and how they impacted you. But, and as look back to you being a preacher, how that's one of those situations of all things working together though. All
Yes.
things. You are a beautiful example of that. Okay. So my next question, or let me say this first, is you are a perfect example of so what success. You've learned how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. And you are the picture of so what success. Success in spite of any of those obstacles that you face. But DeAndre, how do you personally define success? What's your definition?
Yes, I've had a couple. When I teach my men and women in the program, I tell them success is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and be proud of what you see. Because you have to realize that we've all been through things. And in reaching a goal, while that's a moment that you can be happy about, if all you're doing is going from goal to goal, your life is going to be constantly a life of chasing things. But it's more like a journey. I'm taking this trip and I want to accomplish goals along the way. But if I'm going in the right direction, I'm now successful because I've gone in the wrong direction before. I know what that feels like. So to wake up in the morning and be able to go in the mirror when I brush my teeth, I'm not ashamed of what I did yesterday. I'm not hiding myself in public because I don't want people to see me. When I walk in the room now, I'm glad folks can see me. And I'm proud of what they're able to see because of what I've had to overcome. And when you can look at life from that perspective, it doesn't matter how much you make, where you live, what you drive, it's how you feel about yourself. Because one thing about success is it has to be internal. It can't be based on anything external, because any external thing can be taken away. But you can't take away what's on the inside of me. And when I defined myself as being able to look in the mirror, as long as I got a mirror, I'm successful.
Hey, I like that. Oh, I love it. I love it, DeAndre. Okay, one last question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to be successful, however they define it, but there's challenges, as we all will? What advice would you give?
It's so simple, which it sounds simple, but it's difficult. Find ways to take the pain and make it your platform. The things that most people are ashamed of, when you can take power from them and use them as power for you, then it becomes fuel. And everything that you've been ashamed of, you burn up, and you burn it in a way that keeps you going. Because when you feel like you can't go anymore, remember the pain. And the pain now, as opposed to you running from it, you run to it, because the more you have, the more energy you have, the more fuel you have, the more power you gain, and the higher your platform becomes. Because people love someone that's not ashamed of what they've been.
I know something about that.
You hear me?
Thank you so much, DeAndre. This was awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.